We are former students of Haslett. Current employees here at Haslett as well. The reason we're here is to support basically the teachers involved in the incident. Our main reason for being here is Mr. Town is our boss, and we wanted to just kind of give an impression of like how we feel about him and how he's impacted us and how we think he impacts the rest of the community. To me, Mr. Town is an amazing person who is here solely for the students and to make them better people.
Touches everyone he meets in some way. He does middle school camps. He teaches 5 hours a day, and he encourages everyone to just be the best person they can be each day.
And what has happened right now for me is that I've lost the trust that I had in the school system with my child. And I think many parents and many people in this community have lost that sense of trust. I have 30 more seconds, please. Any professional occupation has a code of ethics, a code of conduct, a code of character, where there's accountability and consequences when that code is breached. And what I can't find here in anything that has been brought forward is where is the professionalism, the ethics, the code of character, conduct, whatnot, that asks people to be adults, to take responsibility for their actions, to be responsible, and to lead our children into adulthood in a responsible way.
In relation to the last comment, there actually is a code of teaching conduct that all teachers are given in the state of Michigan, and this conduct does violate a provision that deals directly with social conduct in that. I'm speaking as a parent, but also as a law professor at Michigan State University College of Law, and I have to say that I am flabbergasted by the advice that was given to the school board by counsel. I'm not in any way trying to cast aspersions on counsel. It's a fine law firm. And having represented school boards myself, I understand the very tight and hard tightrope that legal counsel has to walk in these sorts of situations. With that said, there are numerous cases of teachers being disciplined for everything from posting pictures of themselves at parties on their Facebook pages to the sorts of drug use and assault, or battery in this case. The person was not conscious, so it would legally be assault, but it certainly would be battery that occurred in this case. There are levels of discipline that fall short of termination, and I am certainly not calling for anyone's head in that context. To the extent that the collective bargaining agreement would be relevant in relation to discipline, that would relate more to questions of termination and the tenure law would relate more to questions of termination than other forms of discipline that might be available. Certainly now that the information is available, the board can act and certainly look into patterns of conduct, not just the conduct in this particular incident. Again, I'm not here to call for anybody's head. Everything is fact sensitive, and individuals do make mistakes, but there seems to be a level of mistake here that is quite frankly mind-boggling, and apparently a pattern of conduct that is highly troubling.
I wonder if anyone in this room can sit and say they have sat face to face with any of these teachers, looked in their hearts, looked in their eyes, and they know where they are at this point right now, because I can guarantee that there are many of you who do not know where they are right now, and this is not the forum that we can have for them to get up there. They've been advised not to be here so that you can hear what they have to say. I sat across the chair holding hands with one of them and said, tell me what's in your heart, let me look in your eyes. I need to know where you are right now. And so I think until we have a chance for everyone to do that and hear that from them, I think that we need to hold our judgments. I think we need to listen to the facts. But I think I could not possibly sit back and let someone's entire professional career that has been stellar be judged solely on one bad choice moment.
The individuals involved, I was able to play basketball for
to Mimi for 2 years, and I coached boot camp with him for 3. Was a great coach. He's a great teacher, good person. The second spring in town, I was in class with him for 2 years. I was part of the 2007 telethon. Spent, hours, just like people on there's hours, in that studio working with him. He's an amazing individual. He's done great things for this district, for the community. I mean, I think nobody can argue with that, with the things he's done.
So maybe we should just, if we could possibly do it, have them undergo the adult equivalent of taking them out to the woodshed and sending them to bed without their supper and grounding for a couple of weeks. Termination? Absolutely not. You've heard a lot of positive things about these teachers involved. As a matter of fact, I talked to one of the teachers involved earlier today. And if this teacher is an example of all of them, which I tend to think they would be, no one's sorrier than this teacher. And I would dare say if anybody in this room had their lives examined for something that happened 2 years ago, how many of us would stand up to the same scrutiny, shall we say? Did they do something wrong? Absolutely. Should they pay the rest of their lives for it? No.
And so I don't take lightly the article or the pictures. But that aside, there's one other issue that we really haven't focused on, and I really believe that we need to. First of all, I would say that I know that the Board of Education, I know Superintendent Duda, Principal Wajinski, Principal Pridgen have nothing but the safety and education of our children as their foremost concern. And I can say, having had a child go through K through 12 and 3 more coming up the ranks, that's been my experience. But this appears to me to be a situation where the school system's been dragged into this as a result of one person's attempt at what I would call extortion. And I think that has to be part of the conversation. So I agree that there has been some compromises for our children. I agree that there's probably been some compromises for this particular individual in terms of...
I'd like to say I'm totally supportive of Superintendent Duda and the board position heretofore. What I'm appalled about is, as with the previous speaker, that this issue has come up 2 years after the fact. It appears to me that if there was an assault, it would have come public much sooner rather than now. From my reading of it, it appears to be a labor management issue and not a criminal issue. I think it's important to remember teachers are entitled to private lives as well. All these incidents happened on private time amongst consenting adults. Thankfully, the superintendent and the board's position represents a modern and professional outlook. Moralizing and judging people for private actions is a really slippery slope. Please don't go down that path.
And I am a very close friend with Martin Pichette. And I have sat across from her and looked into her eyes. It's been a very long 2 years. There's been times where I've driven her home at night and she's terrified because she's recalling waking up from unconsciousness in the back of the truck with the tarp on the top of her. I don't think any one of us here thinks that's right. And I also don't think that any one of us would agree that we should teach our children to stand by and watch something that we don't think is right. If we see somebody calling somebody a name, I would hope all of us would stick up for that person. There were many people in that room that night observing things that were not consensual, and some things that were not observed that were not consensual. Sorry. So I'm a little concerned that we do have faculty teaching our students that maybe would not do, when put in the position, what's right. Maybe they are teaching students to do those things, but they are not showing by example. I was with Veronica the day that she left her classroom that she loved to teach in because she could not teach at the high school any longer and now teaches at the middle school. It's a very difficult day for her. She loved what she did at the high school. She's adapted well as she can teaching at the middle school, and does a great job there, and I am sure that all these other teachers are great teachers as well. I heard a lot about a lot of their programs, their athletics. We can all be great at our jobs, but that does not mean that we abide by the law or do good things or make us good people. Don't think that this can be judged by how well they teach in the classroom. And they are public employees. This is a public issue. There's been some comments about the fact that this was not prosecuted. I believe it was about 14 months into the case, Stuart Dunning finally came forward with the fact that one of the perpetrators was somebody he knew. Again, I'm not sure who spoke to the fact that the second prosecutor decided that it was too late to prosecute. However, the statute of limitations against battery arts is 2 years, and I'm not sure why our laws in Michigan did not take precedence over someone's personal opinion of how long it takes to prosecute something. One other thing I'd like to mention is only one person was given a drug test. That was in P-Shot. Yes, she is admitted to smoking marijuana that night. She's one of the most honest people I know. She's been honest through all of this. The marijuana did not even show up in her system, but she could retract her statement. She's not going to, because the truth is the only thing that she can stand on. However, Flexeril was found in her system, which she did not take. And I think that would be something that would be a concern to everybody in this room.
The bottom line is, if we are here for the students, the bottom line is the students, this is what students are seeing right now from Haslett School. This incident is acceptable because there are no consequences so far for these individuals. And I think that is a very wrong message for Haslett School to send to the students.